Welcome to the next level, boys and girls. Sonic 3, Sega's favorite cash cow they hate to milk. Every game company has one. Nintendo has quite a few, and you may think it has something to do with the whole Michael Jackson music controversy, but nah. The real reason? Sonic has a fucking mouth! That's it, burn every copy. Knuckles is now from Sonic Blast on the Game Gear. The universe will thank me. I'm just gonna say this straight out. Sonic the Hedgehog CD is my favorite video game of all time. But there is one game that's almost exactly tied with that position. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, meme-worthy title or not, is exactly that game. I can't remember my first experiences I had with Sonic 1 or Sonic 2. But this game was so great that it was able to leave a lasting impact on me as early as the first title screen. I remember thinking as a little boy that, just like Sonic Advance and Sonic CD, this was something truly special. We could talk more about that special something in this trilogy of videos. Talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and then after that, two halves of Sonic 3 combined. Let's start on this massive undertaking with the development of the first half. Game creators Yuji Naka and Hirokazu Yoshihara, sorry if I mispronounced that, were tasked to make a third Sonic game directly after the success of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Naka was initially hit with the same hesitation just like when he had to start work on the second game. Just like the last time though, all it took was negotiating. He got yet another raise, and he also clearly said he only wanted to work with this Japanese half of the Sega Technical Institute. By doing this, he was hoping to avoid as much of the drama that was caused by the difference between the American and the Japanese work ethics and language problems as possible. It was obvious to Sega at this point that Naka meant big bucks for them, so this wasn't a hard sell whatsoever. The American branch, now shunned from working on the third Sonic game, got to work on Sonic Spinball. Yeah, that's one hell of a demotion. One of the first two decisions made by Mr. Yoshihara and Mr. Naka was that the final product would have to be a massive game, far grander than what they had done with Sonic the Hedgehog 2. This seemed like an impossible task given the time they had, so while early on there was belief that the game might have to be split up, all of it still was worked on at the exact same time. They would wait and see what would happen about the potential game split while they worked. They just didn't put a lot of thought into it, hoping that they somehow could get the game done by the time it was needed. The other thing that they required early on was that the idea that yet another character should be added to the cast of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Kind of like how a competition was held to create a mascot for Sega for what would become Sonic, and like how Tails was created for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, a competition was held for the character to be added to the third game. Mr. Takashi Yuda, again, sorry about pronunciations, eventually won with his design, Knuckles the Echidna, a green echidna with a Nike logo on his chest for a planned promotional deal. Well, I mean, Sonic had a busty blonde girlfriend named Madonna during Sonic 1's development, so obviously things change. Anyways, he was changed from just being another friend of Sonic's to a rival. And kids in a focus test apparently didn't really care for the green color, but liked the actual character, so they made him red instead. As for the Nike symbol, it obviously became the crescent shape on his chest. Sega of America had scored a massive deal with McDonald's to coincide with the release of Sonic the Hedgehog 3, so now there was a deadline to have something called Sonic 3 to sell to the North American market, and around the time, a solution was figured out to meet this deadline. This was the first rumored idea to split the game in two. The first half, what we now know as Sonic the Hedgehog 3, would be the first 7 zones, more on the extra zone later, and make the important date so that the McDonald's promotion would not go to waste. Something that often keeps me up at night is knowing how they advertise Sonic 3 in Europe. Just how did they do it? Well... He's a Mr. Wonder Man. He's a Mr. Wonder Man. Wonder Man. Wonder Man. Now, unfortunately, we don't have 10 or so prototypes of Sonic 3 to help us see how the game evolved from a simple Sonic 2 hack. which there's plenty of evidence in the code to suggest that it was built right off of Sonic 2. After the many leaks of Sonic 2, and possibly to cover the splitting of the game, maybe even because the game was in a constant time crunch, very little was shown of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 before the launch. We only ever had a few screenshots of Sonic looking like his Sonic 2 self, and some slight design changes in HYDROCITY Zone and Carnival Night Zone, and no snowboard and ice cap. Nothing more was ever shown about Sonic 3's development. That is, until 2019. As the finale of Sonic Month, DRX of the prototype archival and research website Hidden Palace released a prototype of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 that blew everyone out of the water. For one thing, look at that title screen. The ROM is dated November 3rd, 1993, about 3 weeks away from when Sonic 3 would have had to have been completed so copies of the game could be made for release. Now there is some talk that this could be actually from October of 1993, but either way, it's obvious that the game was in a major crunch to be finished. Now obviously, there were some shocks, like how the demo shows a bugged version of the Lost Surfing opening for Sonic 3. Normally pressing start in the prototypes brings you to the level select, and holy crap, look at Knuckles! Lots of his final sprites are in the game in later cutscenes, but here we get to take a look at Beta Knuckles probably right before they were removed from the ROM. Another thing to point out is that Sonic is still using his Sonic 2 sprites, and there are some questionable new ones. The other major discovery is that 24 years before Sonic Mania released, there's an early drop dash instead of Sonic's normal double spin attack in this game. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't work half as well as it would in Mania, and honestly it's a little buggy, but it is just amazing that it's in here whatsoever, so close to the final release. Also, Super Sonic is here, and has a weird ring throw ability hidden away in its code. The cutting room floor says it's tied to Super Sonic at least, so I'm not exactly sure of the point of this move, if it was meant to use your rings. It doesn't here, but Super Sonic drains rings already, so do you really want to waste more for a projectile move? I'm gonna interrupt this beta analysis to get some basic things out of the way. Yes, the music is fucking fantastic. It's a Sonic game. The only thing they get fucking right consistently is the music of the Sonic series, so I don't need to say more there, and I have to get this out of the way. I know a lot of you already know this, but for anyone who doesn't, I'll just quickly breeze over it. Michael Jackson wanted to do the music for Sonic 3, and Sega of course were happy to allow him, until a very unfortunate event happened. I personally believe he was innocent, but either way, Sega noped far away from this happening. The other common theory is that Jackson didn't want to be credited because he wasn't happy with the way the Genesis made his music sound. Now, I think this is bullshit, as he knew exactly what it made his music sound like. In 1989, he made a game called Michael Jackson's Moonwalker on the Genesis, so why would he suddenly not know what the Genesis made his music sound like? Either way, the reason I bring it up now is because the music attributed to Jackson and his team for sure, Ice Cap Zone, Carnival Night Zone, and a few others, have completely different music tracks in the November 1993 prototype. They originally were thought by fans to have been written for the later PC port, where these tracks sound like dog shit, but I actually really like the Genesis prototype versions of the tracks, even if they are unfinished. Nothing will ever replace Final Ice Cap to me though. That track is pure gold. Anyways, competition mode. Yeah, so the 93 beta has this mode mostly done, so very few differences here. But I just wanted to bring this up as it is the best multiplayer Sonic had on Genesis. But I really can't capture it as I don't have friends here to play it with me. The cool thing though is that the short levels for this mode are actually original to this mode, and by god, some of the best music tracks of this game in general are exclusive to this mode. Now that that's out of the way, let's get on to the release game. For one thing, for the most part, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 controls exactly the same way Sonic 2 did, but do not believe for a second that they have not added anything new. If you are playing as Tails, you can finally control his flight. This is great if you decide to play as him, as Sonic 2 had to control exactly the same as Sonic. But if you can get a sucker, I mean friend, to control Tails while you use Sonic, he can fly you around. Sonic has a new ability too, the Insta-Shield, or, if you're a loser like me, the W spin attack, which is kind of more accurate to what this move actually does. W is a Japanese pun meaning double, so its real name is the double spin attack. Basically, in midair, if you press the jump button again, Sonic has this aura surround him that kind of looks like the shield from past games for a split second. While this can make you avoid damage in specific scenarios, for the most part, it's used to make your damaging hitbox twice as big as normal for a split second, representing its Japanese name. This, believe it or not, is super satisfying to use and very helpful. The other new ability Sonic has is the elemental shields. Now, these new elemental shields are fire, water, and electric, replacing the original shields from the past two games. Basically, all three have the old shield properties, but all protect against specific elemental projectiles based on which one you have. The fire shield will allow you to avoid fire damage and walk on lava. The electric shield allows you to protect yourself from electrical attacks and bring nearby rings to you via a magnet system, but both shields go away if you touch water. The other, the bubble shield, lets you breathe underwater and protect yourself against other projectiles. But each of these also replace Sonic's air ability with a new one depending on the shield you have. The fire one allows Sonic to dash in midair, the water one lets you have a bounce ability, and the electric, which is already the best shield, gives you a double jump. Also, look at this! Save feature! I know Sonic CD had one, but considering this was a cart release, it's so amazing this game has it. Nowadays, it's not a big deal, save states are a thing, but definitely a great feature regardless. The plot, according to the Japanese manual at least, takes place after the events of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but not immediately after the way you may originally assume. We will get back into why later, but Sonic and Tails come across the location the Death Egg crashed onto Earth, a mysterious island that can fly? But you can clearly see it's in the ocean. The English instruction manual explains that it can use the Chaos Emeralds to fly. Alright, well that's bullshit. Sonic got the Chaos Emeralds in Westside Island in the last game in the special stages, which is supposed to be another world, right? If the island flies with the use of the Chaos Emeralds, then why do they have the special stages they go to in every game? And for that matter, why would Robotnik go there if he knows Sonic has them? Well, whatever. Sonic flies off in his super form, not wanting to waste any time in stopping Robotnik from rebuilding the Death Egg. But Knuckles catches the Hedgehog off guard with a punch and knocks the Hedgehog on his ass and scatters the emeralds. According again to the you know what, I've reached a conclusion. The English manual is fucking bullshit. Ignore it, unless you want to know that Knuckles likes grapes. How is Knuckles able to knock Super Sonic down? Why would he just leave Sonic there if he thought he was a threat? Robotnik, who crashed here, somehow convinced Piccolo over there that Sonic was the true threat, right outside the Death Egg. A giant flying planet-destroying ship shaped in his image. Is there a possibility Knuckles first encountered Robotnik somewhere away from the Death Egg? Sure, but there's no way that Knuckles did not see that big-ass Death Egg. Look how big it is on Sonic and Knuckles' title screen. This is why people call Knuckles a dumbass, and you know what? I kinda see why. How could you believe a guy like this? No matter how sheltered you were, how could you possibly think that he was the good guy? Either way, Sonic, ego probably bruised a little bit, has no choice. He has to explore the island, regather the Chaos Emeralds, and defeat Robotnik once again while avoiding Knuckles. We are given control only moments after Knuckles laughs and leaves us there, beginning the first zone of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Luckily for us, this isn't just a repeat of Greener Emerald Hill. Instead, we have a forest zone as our starting area. It isn't too long until we're introduced to our first mini-boss, which is a new mechanic for Sonic 3. We won't be fighting him just yet, as this is only actually the halfway point in the first level. All he really is here for is to set the whole forest on fire. Well, that escalated quickly. Where's Knuckles anyway? For someone who's currently the Sonic version of Tarzan, this should be setting off some massive red flags. Some guardian he is. Moving on, we get to fight the mini-boss and kick its ass after a bit, and we see the new act transition mechanic. Basically, both acts have their own music in the zone. The zone doesn't fade out, and you just continue from where your mini-boss was. After lots of assaults by Robotnik's airships in the second act, he really wants you dead this time. We come across one of the hardest bosses in the game. No, it's not because of Robotnik, but like Chemical Plant, there's bottomless pits that always seem to magnetize my dumb ass to them. Oh well, maybe it's just me. Of course, this is an absolutely outstanding first stage. And just like how Knuckles greets us at the beginning of the stage, we wander onto a bridge, and Knuckles uses a switch to send us to the next zone. But as soon as he hits the switch, you have a split second to jump and get back into the land. It's a minor glitch, because you have to go down no matter what, but you can kind of just tell Knuckles to go fuck himself and go down on your own terms. Full disclosure, I call this place HYDROCITY. I know it's not correct, but in my honest opinion, it sounds more unique and interesting than calling it HYDROCITY Zone. Anyway, props to the team for making what probably is the best water zone in the entire Sonic the Hedgehog series. Hell, probably one of the best water levels in general. You may not even notice this, but besides the next stage, every zone in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has at least a little bit of water in it. But the majority of zones in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 are also fun, so you probably wouldn't even notice this. Anyways, this level in general plays with water slides that shoot you sky high, spinning cylinders you use in platforming challenges, and quite possibly the hardest mini-boss in Sonic 3. This asshole, although you can damage boost it quite easily. The true boss is sorta neat, as in Sonic Mania, this is the only boss machine you can use to fuck up Robotnik. In short, I love the stage, and playing it is always a treat. Oh yeah, and the music kicks ass. Ugh, I really don't care for this zone. Basically, this place is what would happen if Marble Zone fucked Hilltop Zone, and I've never cared for it. Lots of these stupid spinning platforms. Don't lose it before you smash a wall that you need it for, or else have fun backtracking, asshole. There's way more I can get into, like these spiky troll fuckers, or these stupid earthquake sections out of this level's of a mother. Okay. Positives, it's pretty, and the boss's Sonic is cool. Not as Tails, though. But Tails, this shit sucks. Okay, I actually really like this zone. People tend to hate on it. You know, the barrel and the music not being everybody's cup of tea. But I actually love most of the elements of this stage. Of the Genesis games and CD and Mania, this is actually my second favorite of the city trope, only behind Studiopolis. Although, yeah, I don't care much for the mini-boss. Okay, it's not perfect, but I suppose none of you guys like things with problems. Either way, in my opinion, it's not a bad zone, just more chasing Knuckles shenanigans as normal with a cool theme and good level design. Moving on. Alright guys, I better explain something before we continue. I'm from Canada, and in Canada, a very popular cafe frappe from a chain coffee shop, Tim Hortons, is called Nice Cat. So actually the name for me has always been some kind of dumb meme. With that aside, Sonic starts the stage sliding down the mountain on a snowboard before bailing into a wall and falling on his ass. And this is my favorite zone in all of Sonic the Hedgehog 3K. I love the art, I love the caves, and I love the sky, the bosses, everything. This little Batnik's name is Penguinator. That's so adorable. I love the rope platforms that allow you to build vertical momentum to launch yourself sky high. The music is a jam. Yes, we will be talking about the music a bit here, but I just don't know what else to say. I love this zone. I don't have too many hard times here. Someone will get the joke here. Alright, so far we've had 5 zones. 3 of them are unquestionably amazing, one I really liked a lot despite having fundamental problems, and one pile of Hilltop Zone dog shit, once again from the past game. But the game really ends on a good note with Launch Base Zone. It has some really fun elements like the security sending Falcon Batniks after Sonic, lots of tubes in general, plenty of times to get some speed, and lots of time to get your ass pummeled by a Batnik or spikes as well. But the mini-boss is a joke, the boss isn't. We start by fighting this bowling ball launcher? Okay. We kick its ass and Tails fucking dies. We take this egg pod. Knuckles tries to get in the way after all this, but he gets fucked up by the jet engine. We catch up, and Robotnik sends his rocket thing? Just jump on it and avoid the spikes, and you'll probably win pretty fast. It gets easier as you destroy more and more of it, honestly, and eventually you'll win. Not too bad if you know what you're doing, which it's pretty easy to catch up on this game's mechanics after 1 or 2 playthroughs. And that's Sonic 3. Or is it? In the original version of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 alone, Sonic has one more fight to win, and it's this legendary boss. The Big Arm Boss, as it's known. is honestly and truthfully the best boss in all of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. It's definitely the most engaging of all the Genesis boss fights, and the music for this section is just fantastic. The game truly ends here, with Sonic falling back down to the island. This is anticlimactic, again if you are only playing the separate release as it came out on February 2nd, 1994, before the release of the second half. But we do have some more things to talk about.
Hey everyone, Prower here. Just a quick editor's note is that we accidentally said that Sonic 3 on its own contained the Gumball Machine and the Glowing Spheres bonus stage, when in reality it only had the Gumball Machine. So yeah, a minor issue, but still one I wanted to address. I don't know how Blue missed it, he's such an idiot.
Hey, you're the one that edited the video. You missed it too, obviously.
Ah, shove it. Get back to the video.
By collecting rings and touching a returning checkpoint, the star posts, a familiar sight from Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the same thing will happen again, and a circle of stars will appear above and warp Sonic to two different bonus stages in Sonic 3. But these are not for a Chaos Emerald. Both games involving getting power-ups and lives. These can be determined by how many rings you have when you hit the star post. The first, accessed by having 50 rings or more, puts Sonic in a Gumball Machine where before falling out of it, you can bounce off the sides and off the bottom once. Try to get some rings, a shield, and a life from this big Gumball Machine if you're lucky. It's pretty easy to rack up some items with this one. The other, accessed by having 35 rings or more, was way harder to figure out. Basically, these magnetic spheres attach Sonic to them, and you can use your jumping skills to climb up before the laser rising hits you. The thing is, this one is so easy to get lots of rings in, and therefore lots of lives. It's probably why this one is a lot rarer than the other, or the one they added for Sonic & Knuckles. Sonic & Knuckles alone has two minigames, Magnetic Spheres and a slot machine. I already kind of made a mistake, and I thought Magnetic Spheres was part of Sonic 3, but I'll just cover the slot machine here. In a nutshell, you basically get a fusion of Sonic 1's special stage and Casino Night's slot machines from Sonic 2. If you get 50 rings, you even get a continue, just like in Sonic 1. Just like Sonic 1 as well, you leave the same way. There are gold spheres that warp you out, and the walls that will also turn into spheres if you touch them for too long or too many times. However, unlike Sonic 2, I always thought the odds of getting anything good from the slots was a crapshoot at best. It seems like more often than not, I get fucked by these slots. I guess it's a good message, but still, I much prefer cheesing magnetic spheres since lives are so much more useful than continues. Now you may be wondering where the Chaos Emeralds are if the Star Post doesn't take us to a Chaos Emerald special stage this time. Well, that's because the giant rings return. This time multiple are hidden around the levels, so you have way more opportunities to get them than in Sonic 1 or CD. Although these special stages are a lot easier than any of these past games, including Sonic 2. These are called Blue Spheres, and like 2 and CD are taken from a 3D perspective. This time our goal is to collect blue blue spheres. This may seem hard at first, since they turn red when you touch them, and if you touch a red sphere you get kicked out of the special stage. But if you surround a square of blue spheres, all the spheres in that area become rings. More rings lead to extra lives and continues, so while it's a good idea to collect them, it's not mandatory. Anyways, the special stages in Sonic 3 are decently easy with a little practice, at least in comparison to the previous games. Although I have a special fuck you for Special Stage 4. Why? The colors hurt my eyes with all the red, and this fucking jump has always stressed me out. Other than that, the special stages are all really solid. Once again, like mentioned before, Super Sonic returns from Sonic 2, and once you've recollected the 7 Emeralds of Chaos, Sonic can regain his ability to go Super Saiyan. I guess we should also mention Super Knuckles. After all, he gets a transformation too, and it's way lamer, at least appearance-wise. Sure, most of his abilities are improved like Super Sonic, but appearance-wise, he glows. It's kinda lame, isn't it? But Jesus fuck, what is that transformation animation? Tails, like Sonic 2, doesn't actually have a super form. Canonically, the reason that was always given was that Tails was too young to transform. Now, in Sonic 3, I can consistently get all 7 Emeralds of Sonic by the second zone in the game. Or if I'm really fucking up, the 4th. Point is, they couldn't have us blasting through the whole lock-on experience of Super Sonic, so a really cool compromise was made. Exclusive to Sonic 3K is a special area at the beginning of Sonic's Mushroom Hill, although Knuckles can get back here too. But in Sonic's story, you actually see Knuckles being sneaky, and he hits a switch to close this door. Since the last time we saw him was when he ate shit and fell to the bottom of the ocean in Lost Base, this gets our attention. If you have all 7 Chaos Emeralds, there's a giant ring, flashing the 7 different Chaos Emerald colors in glorious splendor. Now, fair warning, if you grab this ring, you will lose your ability to transform. But there is a reason for that. Now, technically, you don't have to give up your power, and you can play the rest of the game with Super Sonic or Super Knuckles. But what are you? A bitch? Get your ass in that new renamed Super
Chaos
Ring.
Emeralds.
It should be Hyper Ring, but whatever. We are warped to the middle of the Hidden Palace Zone, near the Master Emerald. The Chaos Emeralds float away from your character before, boom, transforming into near Master Emerald-sized emeralds. You may notice that throughout all this video, we never mentioned much about the Master Emerald. That's because it's not too important to the plot. Yes, Robotnik takes it, and as Knuckles, you have to fight a supercharged Mecha Sonic on the thing. But considering how little it appears until the end of the game, it's not really that important. I mean, it's cool, and yes, at the end it does play a part. But in this game, there isn't much to say. In short, this is the most significant thing it does until the end game. Powering up the emeralds. Since we got the Chaos Emeralds using the special stages originally from Sonic 3, our goal to charge the newly formed Super Emeralds back up with power is by using the Sonic and Knuckles special stages. The progression is the exact same, except we are warped to Hidden Palace every time using a Super Ring, and we actually can pick or choose which Chaos Emeralds to attempt first. Win or lose, we are dropped back off at the place where we jumped into the Super Ring. And if we charge up all 7 Super Emeralds, we unlock Hyper Forms. The coolest thing Sega wants you to forget about other than this game. Anyways, the coolest is easily Hypersonic. Hypersonic has all the abilities of Supersonic, but slightly improved. With a rad dash jump he can do in midair in any direction, as well as the ability to breathe underwater, which you'd be forgiven to not know about since none of the Sonic and Knuckles stages actually have water. He also glows in multiple colors, leaves multiple afterimages behind him, and is just so much cooler than Supersonic. Knuckles is still lame. He basically has all the improvements Hypersonic has, minus the jump dash, but when he makes contact with a wall from a glide, he kills everything on screen. Just like Hypersonic's far less situational jump. Yeah, I don't know. Knuckles kind of got the short end of the stick here. Holy shit, Tails gets a super form? Yeah, it takes the power of the Super Emeralds to give the Fox superpowers, and his special gimmick is that flickies surround Tails, inheriting his powers, and fucks up enemies for you. That's super cool, and combined with all the normal powers of a super form, it's safe to say that both Sonic and Tails are laughing pretty hard at the Pink Anteater right about now. Now, we've basically covered the entirety of Sonic the Hedgehog 3, but if you want to know something interesting, the level select is nearly impossible to input in this game for some reason. There's lots of frames that'll just eat your inputs up, and you don't actually have a whole lot of time to enter it. But Sonic 3 is actually built directly off the code of Sonic 2, which we also know is built off Sonic 1's code. Because of that, there's actually a really cool trick you can do with Sonic 2.
I'm listening.
All you have to do is in Sonic 2 go in and enter the level select code, which is 1965-09-17 in the sound test. If you didn't know, that's actually Yuji Naka's birthday, September 17th, 1965. Once you input that, without turning off your Genesis, take out Sonic 2
And you lost me.
you remove the Sonic 2 cartridge from your Genesis and
What? Why are you taking Sonic 2 out of the Genesis?
take Sonic 2 out of your Genesis.
But it's Sonic 2.
If you make him take Sonic 2 out, I will eat you!
Nah, man, don't take out the Sonic 2. Come on, bro.
Oi, what do you think you're doing taking out that Sonic 2 there?
Bro, is that Sonic 2 you're taking out of your Genesis? Who made this kid do this?
Taking out the Sonic 2, are we? That's kinda cringe.
Talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies. I'm out of here.
Tu, pirla, stronzo bastardo, pezzo di merda, cosa stai facendo, eh?
Mate, we're not gonna fight over this, alright? We're not gonna fight over a stupid bloody thing like games, alright?
The audacity! You horrible! Oh, you know we deserve to be called a monster! Oh, you disgust me!
Let's go to the tins and get ourselves some coffee and tin bits, eh? And we'll take you who's on in hockey, eh?
Everybody calm down! Look, you remove the cartridge, plug in Sonic 3, and press the reset button. Because of this, the RAM address still sees the level select unlocked because they didn't change the address for Sonic 3. And now the level select is unlocked, and we can see why it's so hard to pull off here, and... What the fuck is a Mushroom Valley?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Sega presents one champion of good, one pawn of evil. It's Sonic and Knuckles. Not only is it the greatest Sonic game ever, it also comes with lock-on technology. Plug in Sonic 2 and use Knuckles to play in a whole new way. Plug in Sonic 3 for 34 megs of power, new worlds, and surprise endings. Sonic and Knuckles with lock-on technology, only on Sega Genesis. Sonic and Knuckles, other game cartridges, and Sega Genesis, each sold separately.
The 90s, when domestic abuse was okay, if your kid could plug his food into the Genesis. What? Okay, so we all know the spiel, right? Sonic the Hedgehog 3 could not make a Christmas 1993 release, so they rushed Sonic Spinball out. Gee, thanks. Don't worry though, we all know that the Sonic community couldn't live without Sonic Spinball, right? Instead of pushing the game until December 1994 and making Sonic 3 the biggest game of all time for the Sega Genesis, they split up the game. But we all knew this. You have been paying attention, right? There will be a test after this, so study up. Their solution to the whole mess was to market the first half with obesity, but how did they market the second half? Simple. Throw every Sonic fan they found in a horny jail. Technically though, Sega Gamers Day 1994 was the first time word got out about Sonic & Knuckles. And by that, a logo showed up. Based on the article from Sega Retro, they were more pushing the Sega 32X, as well as the Sega CD backup RAM cart.
Fucking hell, I'll take 20 of them.
The real meat and potatoes was an event called Rock the Rock on MTV, which for everyone my age is basically 90s Hormones TV channel. They held 40 competitions around parts of the world, took the top 50 players of those, put them in prison uniforms, had them participate in a chase, and took them and locked them up in fucking Alcatraz of all places. That will teach you to be good at Sonic, you fucking animals. You disgust me. I forgot to mention as well that 5 of those contestants were random call-in winners. They had no hope of winning anything, they just wanted to be thrown in horny jail too. Just remember, Sonic fans are always weirdos. What does any of this have to do with Sonic & Knuckles? Well, Chris Tang won the competition by 30 rings and won the $25,000 cash prize. The entire special is pretty lame for a game reveal, since most of it shows footage from one zone.
The coolest thing about this game is the mushroom.
Is that maybe because that's all you've seen of the game? The most interesting part of the video is definitely the visit to STI. Sega in later years has not really commented much on the development of Sonic 3 themselves, so much so... Is that Tierra? In 1994? Why are they showing us that? Imagine if you were watching a small shitty video on Yoshi's Island from the 90s, and partway through, they show you a character from Super Mario 64 2 or something. Like, what the hell? Okay, so these concept art pieces are really interesting, because some of them have only ever been seen in this nearly 25-year-old video. What's even more interesting than that is that a few of these that we have seen since in higher quality were repurposed from Sonic 2's development. This piece, for example, was originally a ruin zone for Sonic 2, which was repurposed for the final Sonic 3 zone, Marble Garden. This brings up an important question. Let's argue for a second here that all of this concept art here was repurposed from Sonic 2. A lot of zones in Sonic 3 resemble cut zones from during Sonic 2's development. But were the people who came up with these designs credited in any way? Brenda Ross, a person who has had 2 zones from Sonic 2 cut, being Dust Hill, Sand Shower, whatever the hell it wants to be called this week, and a recolor of that zone for a winter level, has been noticeably passive-aggressive to people who ask her about Sonic 2, or even Spinball, as her level was also cut from that game. Look at this winter piece. This beautiful piece has never been seen in HD, or ever released since, and it's one of the few pieces that hasn't been. Is it possible that the Sonic 2 developers were never credited when the new zones were made up, and that's why information on this game's development are so hazy? Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass here. Anyways, the rest of the special is pretty poorly done. There's a segment with a man who actually was locked in Alcatraz, who I can guarantee you no kid interested in the game was listening to. But what's actually really awful is the competition. They never explain the rules, how you play.
Well, I got my game of Sonic and Knuckles, and I'm gonna be playing all day. Sir, you'll have to get the game here. Nah, man, they told me I can have it.
Oh great, not even the commentators have any idea what's going on. And at one point there's random Knuckles and Sonic 2 footage, so I have no idea what the rule set was, other than it was based on rings and probably a timer. But this is coming from someone who knows what a Sonic is. Can you imagine watching this in 1994 in a home where your family was technologically inept? I'm sure that was still really common in 1994. Okay, I'm just done with this stupid special. Sega Japan, on the other hand, never planned on releasing the separated game, so Sonic 3 was actually not released in the region at first. Instead, they were planning on releasing the locked-on version as the only option there. This, like the usual stupidity of Sega Japan, was a mistake. Why? Massive importing of the US version and tons of pirated cartridges made. Like any idiot could have seen that coming, the US was the only region where actively importing wasn't a thing. So Sonic 3 got a Japanese release after all. Anyways, the reason the cartridge is so special is because of the fact that the cartridge could take a cartridge on top of itself. In a move to hide the true nature of the split up, they added some other things to the other Sonic games to make it seem like backwards compatibility instead of one game sold to you twice. By connecting Sonic 2 to the Sonic & Knuckles cartridge, you now unlock the ability to play Sonic 2 exclusively as Knuckles. I have no idea how they would explain this story-wise, but whatever, Knuckles is in Sonic 2 now, and I never do this. You guys know how I feel about Knuckles as a playable character, so I don't care to play this version over Sonic and Tails, and never have. It's a really cool feature, it's just not in my taste. Now, the other bonus is if you lock on Sonic 1. Now, apparently, they tried to make Knuckles work in Sonic 1, but due to time and palette limitations, it just couldn't be done. In its place is a secret mode where if you push A, B, C, and start, you unlock an endless game of randomly generated blue sphere stages. You can also get one random blue sphere stage if you lock on a random other cartridge made before Sonic & Knuckles. But this isn't something I play around with much either. That's good it's here. The story, according to the American manual, tries to imply Sonic, as well as Knuckles' story, happened at the exact same time. So once again, let's ignore that. But let's look at the Japanese manual, which talks about the locked-on version. Ah, fuck. Spoilers, Sega. Okay, both manuals are not much help for the solo experience straight out of the gate. Alright, okay, I'll try myself. Remember me fighting the big arm boss and causing the Death Egg to crash again? Well, Sonic and Tails crash landed in the Mushroom Hills zone. Our goal is to make it back to the Death Egg and stop Robotnik. The English manual tries to imply that Sonic somehow knows what the Master Emerald is, which, when would that have happened? Okay, say Sonic can talk, so despite there never being a conversation in Sonic 3, let's just pretend one happened. Fuck it. Before we begin, we need to talk about the new playable character. That's right, we can play as Knuckles. And I fucking hate doing so. So, Knuckles has two special abilities that are supposed to make up for his weaknesses. In mid-air, he can glide, which, alright, is kinda cool, and he can also climb up some walls. I say some walls because this is really selective to whenever the developers decide not to let you climb something. Fuck your feelings. The trade-offs to both of these abilities is a slightly slower character, which I can deal with, fine. The big sin of this is that Knuckles has a severely gimped jump, and I hate this. Believe me, after all of these years, playing Sonic is muscle memory at this point, and missing jumps because Knuckles can't jump is infuriating. Now, to be fair to Knuckles, he can straight up punch his way through things Sonic couldn't, but only once again selectively, and I'm sorry, but I'll take Sonic's speed and jump height any day. The other thing, even though never stated in either manual, it's pretty clear that the events of Knuckles' story happen after Sonic and Tails have already beaten Robotnik in the final zone. In Knuckles' story, an Egg Robo straight up yeets a fucking bomb straight at him, seemingly just to fuck with him. Honestly, it's pretty funny, so screw it. The game doesn't want to build up a deep, complex reason for more zones. Why should we? Let's just jump right in. It's been pretty obvious my footage has been using Sonic 3 Complete on my EverDrive, right? Well, I mean it is now. Yes, for this entire series of videos, I played Locked On. Sue me. Anyways, this place realistically could be called the Emerald Forest Zone, since there are actually 11 giant rings in the zone alone, which makes a lot of sense in the locked on version. It is kinda tricky in my opinion to find them all too, since I feel like a big shortcoming of the stage is that a lot of the set pieces in the zone seem to look identical, so it can be pretty tricky to explore. But in the zone's defense, it is supposed to be a forest zone, so that could have been intentional. And considering the fact that this not only needed to be the 7th zone in the combined Sonic 3 experience, as well as the first zone in Sonic & Knuckles by itself, I think this zone is a great level because of that, and the bosses are really unique too. We have a lumberjack robot. Thank God he isn't using that axe on us. I don't think Ring is protecting Sonic or Knuckles from mutilation.
Sonic!
The scrolling boss against Robotnik is really neat too. We don't get enough bosses where we have to chase something until Mania, so I really enjoyed this quite a bit. Knuckles' path through the zone is nearly identical, and I mean sure, his Act 1 starting location is different from Sonic's, that doesn't mean much. Interesting fact about this zone that most people already know is that this zone was originally meant for the first half. The zone would have taken place between Carnival Night and Ice Cap, with Sonic breaking off a door to the ship to use as a snowboard. In the prototype, Flying Battery is still accessible, and it's pretty early and rough, but it's definitely closer to being done than the other Sonic & Knuckles zones at this stage, as the bosses are actually already here. We're on a flying airship, and I guess our goal is to stop it. We can see this ship is transporting a ton of egg capsules, so I assume that's the ship's goal, but it doesn't take too long to blow up this place. The giant rings in this zone are really hard to find in my opinion. The first one I know about requires you to see this extremely obscure path that would only appear if you stop and wait instead of continuing your natural pace at this point. You climb it, and push this very specific set of spikes to fall into a giant ring. And honestly, I've just found out recording for this that there's another giant ring you can find almost right after this one by pushing another spike. I mean, I don't know, in my opinion it's kind of a dick move, but you do you, game. Once again, I may be crazy, but this zone may as well be the exact same for Knuckles, considering I'm pretty sure nothing changes from here. I could be wrong, but I really don't remember a difference. Knuckles' story is supposed to take place right after Sonic's, so I find it weird that this airship is flying at the exact same coordinates as it did for Sonic's. The swinging boss is kind of neat though. I know this zone is usually a fan favorite as the music here is really nice and this is a really pretty solid zone, but generally it's not one of my favorites, and honestly I couldn't really tell you why. I guess in the end it's a solid enough zone and there's nothing wrong with it. It just never wowed me. Okay, yep, fuck this zone. Yes, Act 1 is pretty. Act 2 is kinda neat to explore an ancient pyramid. But that's all that's good out of this place. This level's music drags too, and it perfectly represents how annoying and repetitive some sections of the zone is. And there's a few puzzles that will constantly loop, and will give you a serious threat of timing out in this zone your first time. Everything in this zone seems to want to make you waste time, and even though both acts are pretty, they try to even fuck that up with this silly ghost mechanic. Basically, these silly Halloween ghosts are freed by Sonic accidentally landing on an egg capsule, and if you don't occasionally pull these switches down, these ghosts will make the lights go dimmer and dimmer and become more and more demonic, and eventually they'll start attacking you. Not that that's the real threat at all, but it just makes you see less and less of the pretty scenery, and honestly this zone is just awful. Easily the worst in all of Sonic 3 together. The mini-boss golem is only interesting when you don't know what to do, and it's really just meant to mess with you anyways, and get you a time over on your first time, but there is one saving grace to this zone. You get to kick the shit out of Robotnik in mere seconds with super or hyper forms, and it is so gratifying. What's different for Knuckles? The ghosts are already out of the capsule in Act 2. He even lands in the same place Sonic and Tails did off the ship to start Act 1. I mean, what even are the logical odds of that happening? Well, if the last zone is by far the worst of Sonic & Knuckles, this zone is definitely one of the biggest highlights. This zone does for lava areas what Ice Cap did for winter zones. This zone with Sonic and Tails is a great challenge, and it doesn't seem dickheaded at all. It's fun to race through this place, and when you get to the second act it becomes crystalline and serene, which makes me wonder if Lava Reef is somewhere close to the Ice Cap Mountains. If you think that is extremely stupid, remember the OVA. Anyways, the really weird thing here is that according to the level select, this zone actually has 4 acts. In Sonic's story, at the end of Act 2, we run into Knuckles, who punches a fucking snow boulder into us. Man, what an asshole. And we fall into the most dangerous looking area of the game and get a glimpse of the Crash Death Egg's power. Honestly though, the boss here is a joke, since if you grab the fire shield, all you have to do is avoid the mines and he'll kill himself. But this is seriously such a great zone. In the prototype of Sonic 3, this zone normally isn't accessible, but someone way smarter than me figured out that there is still leftover Lava Reef data in the ROM, so it's somewhat restorable, of course without collision. But just the fact that this is possible is insane to me. For Knuckles though, this zone is significantly different. For the worst. This is just mostly slapstick zone since you are going to be taking lots of hits in this zone. It's just lame if you play as Knuckles. I guess at least it's different this time. What's really cool is that if we continue to what this game thinks is Lava Reef Act 4... Wait, what? They did it? The madmen did it! One of the biggest crimes Sonic 2 committed was having this beautiful zone removed from Sonic 2, but they brought it back for Sonic 3! Awesome, Wait, this isn't Hidden Palace Zone. Okay, it's a similar theme, but it's not the same thing as the cut zone. This really is just a cutscene zone, and halfway through, oh, I'm gonna enjoy this.
Time for a Knuckles!
God, that was satisfying. But yeah, after one of the most satisfying beatdowns in history, Robotnik is here to show his true colors to Knuckles finally, and takes the Master Emerald as we give chase. Unfortunately for Knuckles, he gets shocked and falls on his ass as the platform we're on breaks and we fall. Knuckles shows us to a teleporter to the next zone. Oh, and for Knuckles, this is literally a hallway zone. Nothing happens here. Actually, the next zone is Knuckles' last. Knuckles takes the teleporter to a new section in Sky Sanctuary. We see the egg robo that's been fucking with us the entire time, and when we try to strike him, we're caught, and Knuckles manages to avoid a spin dash to the skull just in time to glide out of the way. The egg robo though? No. He's smashed like the common badnik he is, and the fight goes through the same way it did with Sonic, until we win. Mecha Sonic ain't losing twice. We follow him, and in a last-ditch move, Mecha Sonic actually uses the Master Emerald. He's a super-powered robot now. This is the first and probably one of the only times this ever happens.
What's up with that knucklehead anyway?
Unfortunately, the boss isn't really that hard. All you have to do is wait for him to run out of energy like a kid during a sugar rush and nail him a couple times while he's true and blue. Right as the platform is about to blow and everything looks lost. Had to bail your stupid ass out again, huh? Shut up. And just like before, we bring the Master Emerald back to Angel Island as Sonic flies off in his plane. No fucking idea where Tails is, but... Oh right, yeah, it's Sonic Tails. We gotta get back to them. This is already out of whack. The beam of light here drops us off in these ruins of the sky that remind me a little bit of the Kingdom of Zeal and Chrono Trigger, and oh, that's not good. We run across the ruins avoiding A-Robos and falling into the vast ocean, running into a new robot Sonic, driving the Green Hill Zone boss machine? This new model is known as Mecha Sonic, and this feels way harder than it did in Sonic 1, but I'm not sure why. Anyways, it's not too much longer until we see Mecha Sonic again with the Metropolis Zone boss? Oh, actually, this fight's a lot easier than last time thanks to the double spin attack. Anyways, the single act zone is actually not much longer. Finally, we fight Mecha Sonic and taller air dash kind of move colored eyes. Is this thing a warning of the future? Anyways, we beat it and we run up crumbling platforms, so we just make the death egg, leading into the final real zone of this massive quest. Wow, this place saw an upgrade. It's even more of a Star Wars ripoff now. And honestly, if you got here, you'll beat the game. The first act is rather easy, although on the long side, and the mini-boss is somewhat of a challenge. Probably the hardest mini-boss in the game. Act 2 plays with anti-gravity, but honestly the most annoying thing about this zone is how there's just some really silly pits and lack of checkpoints, especially in Act 1. The boss here is really boring, since you can just spam this elevator to change gravity to make the robots hit the boss. Really, this zone isn't anything too special. Sure, I consider it better than Collision Chaos or Scrap Brain, but it never really wowed me, especially with the more infuriating than anything boss. But we're finally here. The end. Okay, yes, the first bit is considered Death Egg. The level select loads from this level in from Doomsday, so leave me alone. The last level of the game, although it's all bosses from here. Man, the Death Egg robot sure saw an upgrade to everything except its appearance. We have a repeat of the finger fight from Lava Reef to start us off. Just as easy as before, even with the extra hand, but the real boss is right after. Anyways, we have to run away from this thing while bopping its chest and avoiding nose Hadoukens. Our goal here is to hit the Master Emerald to free it before it fires a massive laser at us. It's not too hard, but after we beat this, the bitch tries to run. That ain't happening. We got this far, you're gonna take your beat down sunny side up, wimp. We chase him, and this is the most dangerous part of the whole fight. Be careful how you hit him last, because your last hit off him can easily get you killed. But we're not done. Now it's real Doomsday. Robotnik takes a ship in a last-ditch effort to escape with the Master Emerald, and with no ground, Sonic, probably under a lot of stress, summons 50 rings and his Super or Hyper form, meaning that if you don't have all 7 Chaos Emeralds or the Super Emeralds if you enter a Super Ring even once, you will get a bad ending. You have to use Sonic Speed to avoid the heat-seeking missiles and launch them right back in Robotnik's ship. You only die if you run out of rings. Everything else just knocks you back. Just remember to use your jump button to boost. After launching enough missiles back at him, Robotnik will flee in a mech, and now it's just a goal of tagging him enough times before running out of rings. And finally, that's Sonic 3.
I discovered Sonic 3 when I was about 10, because I went to my uncle's house a lot and he had the Sonic, Mega collection on the GameCube. So every time I went there, I'd just go on the GameCube and play it. And yeah, I just played it up until I was 12 and got there. Because I got stuck on a couple of parts. It was also my first, I guess, dive into YouTube. I got stuck on a couple parts, so I went to go look up walkthroughs on YouTube, and I found this guy named Sonic Dude 101, and because I watched him so often, I memorized where all of the special zone rings are. I memorized how to get all of them. I memorized what the shields are. I'm a nerd now. For Sonic 3, I just know where everything is now. It was my first Sonic game for the most part, so it does hold a high place up there. I put Sonic 3 and Sonic Rush on the same pedestal, I guess.
So I'd like to start this off with a little bit of history. When I was 5 years old, I had a Wii that was backwards compatible with GameCube. At that time, I was introduced to a game called Sonic Mega Collection. For what it was, I really did not understand Sonic at all. But what did get me interested was just how clean Sonic 3 and Knuckles were separately. I wouldn't have known about the lock-on feature until I was 16. Between the time when I was 5 years old and 15, I had a ban on Sonic due to the secret rings, and I just never got back to it. To this day, I'm still kind of really picky towards modern Sonic. But the point is, when I got back into Sonic games, I was really caught by how cool and how fluid classic Sonic games were. This was around the time that Mania would have been the very first time I actually had interest in Sonic. So when I got back into Sonic for months afterward, I would have revisited Sonic 3 and Knuckles for the first time, and it felt perfect. It felt like the Sonic game that I would play pretty much forever. It's that good. I usually compare Sonic games pretty much all the time when I was working on Sonic games for myself, but I still believe that Sonic 3 and Knuckles was pretty much the perfect Sonic game for me. And you know what? I think it's a really safe thing to say, because there's a lot of good things about it that pretty much no other Sonic game could pretty much top off. Not even SonicCGV for its beautiful graphics and beautiful sound.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles is a very special game for me, because not only it plays amazing, but it also manages to push the gameplay and aesthetic of Sonic to its fullest extent. Playing this game was a trip for me. 14 zones, 3 characters with unique abilities, a dialogue-less yet cinematic story, and Michael fucking Jackson. This game was released in 1994. 94! This game will always remain as one of the biggest Sonic games to date for me.
For reasons beyond my control, mostly the fact that I am bad at video games, I never actually beat Sonic 3 and Knuckles. One time, I actually cleared the first half during a long bus ride, but I never resumed playing. The release of Sonic 3 Air gave me an excuse to go back to Angel Island, and for whatever reason, something clicked. I suddenly understood why so many people think this game is so good. Between the fantastic art direction, wonderful music, and stellar level design, I was hooked. I still remember when I beat the giant Eggman mech for the first time at the end of Death Egg Zone. I had all the Chaos Emeralds, but only 3 Super Emeralds. I thought I had locked myself out of the Doomsday. Lo and behold, there I was, golden, and flinging myself towards a frightened mustachioed man hiding in a death machine. I've been thinking about this game ever since. It truly is in a league of its own. It's got a unique something that only the best Sonic games have. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is pure Hedgehog lightning in a bottle.
And now, let's take a small look back at our journey. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is a masterpiece. That much is obvious. For what they pulled off in 1994, it cannot be understated how amazing this game is. Sonic 3 is not my favorite Sonic game, but it might be the greatest objectively. Any final thoughts, Wolf Boy?
I really like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but I don't think it had enough Rouge to Bat in it, so 2 out of 10.
Yikes. I need an ending. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Anthony's Animation Talk.
It's hard to believe that it was only 5 years ago that Miyamoto released Sonic 3 on the Xbox 360 console. It was such an incredible achievement by the team over at Sony to release such an amazing game, and Miyamoto as well. I mean, considering it's his first game he's ever made, and it's just incredible, and it's a shame he retired straight away after this as well. You know, just his design of Batboy and Freaky Deaky Man, and all these weird and wonderful characters. I mean, Flower Dude. I mean, who would have come up with Flower Dude? Such amazing powers. Flower Dude. Miyamoto, please come back to the gaming industry. We need you back, dude. I mean, but Blue, good on you for defeating this game. It's a masterpiece.
What?